Hey there, math students. We're going to do a little bit more work today with solving some two-step equations. So let's go ahead and get started. Now this is your assignment right here. So I'm going to help you out with numbers 1, 2, and 5. If you want to try to do it on your own, maybe go ahead and pause the video for number 1 right now, do your work, and then hit play. Okay, let's get started with number 1. Number 1, we have n over 6, or n divided by 6, plus 9 equals 8. So we know that we need to get this n by itself, right? But the question is, what should we get rid of first, the 6 or the 9? If you said 9, you are correct. We want to get rid of the one that is being added or subtracted separately from the fraction. So let's do minus 9, and what we do to one side, we have to do on both sides. Okay, these are going to cancel out to 0. I'm going to bring down my n over 6, and that's going to equal, let's see, 8 minus 9, and that's going to equal negative 1. Okay, so now the only thing I have to get rid of is the 6, and then the n will be totally by itself, which is what we want, right? So if n is being divided by 6, I need to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So we're going to multiply by the number we want to get rid of, and that's a 6. So I'm going to do times 6 on this side and times 6 on that side. Those will cancel, and you're left with n equals negative 1 times 6. That gives us negative 6. And then we are done with that one. Is that what you got? Good work if you did. We are going to do number 2 in a second, but before we do number 2, we're going to skip to number 5 because it's a lot like number 1, but it's different than number 1, and I want to make sure you see the difference. Okay, so in number 1 we have n over 6. It's the little fraction, all off by itself, and then we have plus 9. But over here in number 5, the whole thing is kind of a fraction, right? It's negative 12 plus k. All of that is in the numerator of the fraction over negative 4, divided by negative 4. So the order is going to be a little bit different here. Again, we want k by itself. We want the letter by itself, which means we have to get rid of the negative 12, and we have to get rid of the negative 4. Now up here we got rid of the number that was being added to the fraction, but over here it's all part of the fraction, and you can't take this apart until the fraction is gone. So the thing you really need to get rid of first is the negative 4. So how are we going to get rid of the negative 4? If you want to go ahead and pause your video now, solve this by yourself, and then come back and see if you were right, that would be an awesome idea. How do we get rid of that negative 4? Well, right now it's divided by negative 4. We need to do the opposite of dividing, which is multiplying. So we're going to do multiply by the number we want to get rid of, which is negative 4. And we're going to do the exact same thing on both sides. So both sides will be multiplied by that negative 4. Now when we multiply this side by negative 4, it just cancels out, which is awesome. That's what we want. And I'm going to bring down the negative 12 plus k. And then over here we have to multiply 10 times negative 4. That just gives us negative 40. Okay, we're still trying to get that k by itself. All we have to get rid of is negative 12. So if we have a negative 12 being added to k, we just need to do the opposite of negative 12, which is plus 12. We need to make sure we do it to both sides. And that is going to give us k equals negative 28. Remember, when you have different signs on the numbers, you have to subtract them. And make sure you keep the sign from the larger number, which in this case is 40. So we're keeping that negative, and that gave me a negative 28 equals k. Did you get that one? Okay, good. Let's go on to number 2 now. Alrighty, in number 2, we have negative 43 equals negative 2n plus 5. We want the n by itself, which means we have to get rid of the negative 2, and we have to get rid of the 5. Which one do we get rid of first? This is a good time to pause the video if you want to. The answer is kind of like over here in problem number 1. We're going to get rid of the one that is being added or subtracted to the variable, not the one that's multiplying or dividing by the variable. So we're going to get rid of the 5. If you just look at it, you see how the 5 is further away from it? And over here the 9 is further away from it? That's the number that we want to get rid of first. So if it says plus 5, we're going to get rid of it by doing minus 5. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So let's subtract 5 here. And you see how I'm lining up my numbers directly beneath? That's a great thing for you to do because it keeps things organized and you can see what is going where. And when you run into problems with more steps, this is going to be really important. So these are going to cancel out to 0. Now negative 43 minus 5. Let's see, they have the same sign, so we should add the numbers together. 43 plus 5 equals 48. And then keep the sign, which is a negative, equals, and then we'll just bring down the negative 2 in. Okay, now all we have to get rid of is the negative 2. So if you have these two numbers multiplying together, what's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing is the opposite of multiplying. Good. So what we want to do is divide by the number we want to get rid of, which is negative 2. And make sure you divide by the same thing on both sides. So this is being divided by negative 2, and that's being divided by negative 2. Over here, they're going to cancel, which is great. Over here, negative 48 divided by negative 2 is going to be a positive 24. And that is going to equal n, which is now finally by itself. I would love to see you at a study session. Remember, we meet Monday mornings at 11 and Wednesdays at 2. If you have any questions, always just let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.